So our project today is our ice machine died, and rather than repairing it, it's about almost 3.5 years old, we decided to just go ahead and replace the whole unit. That way we won't get into other parts failing at a later date. So they have a custom surround that we had installed so that the beveled fiberglass area keeps the machine straight. This is our old ice machine. It's just a 110 volt plug-in with water supply, fresh water system. We decided to get a new one because it's pretty rusty, and you can't really see it inside there, but it's all rusty inside the compressor area. I think what actually died was the cooling fan. But rather than just replace that and have something else fail, we decided to replace it with a new one. Ooh. And it has the same plug and hopefully the same water connection. Will we be that lucky? So amazingly enough, with boat projects, the new ice maker went in perfectly. Everything was exactly the same. The water fitting, the screw holes, pretty much everything was exactly the same. So I kind of thank Raritan for not changing the design. And as you can see, it is making ice. We like our ice maker. We obviously did without it for a whole season in the Bahamas, but it is nice to have cold drinks, and rotating things through the refrigeration has its drawbacks. So we're glad to get a working ice machine back together. One of the things a little challenging on the boat is figuring out how to get heavier things back from the store. So during our time in Baltimore, we picked up a little device to help us with our transportation difficulties. We do like to walk whenever we can to pick up groceries, and sometimes it's a mile or more. And sometimes we got to get heavy stuff, like we're going to get a battery this week, and beer, that's heavy. So we thought we'd get this little cart to help us out with that. So it's not a super expensive little cart. Little is the operative word. We wanted something light, and we wanted something that we could easily stow. So this folds up, but also has a bag on it so that we can put grocery bags in there of loose stuff when we're going to and from the grocery store. It's mainly aluminum, but it's got some zinc parts on it, so it'll be interesting to see how long it lasts on the boat. We only spent about $35 on it, so it's not like a huge investment. It's kind of funny, the bag is pretty good size. I have no idea what that says. Maybe I should translate that. It might be bad, but and don't really care for the white wheels, but you can take the bag off it, completely fold it up, and we'll see how it lasts, see how it works. So today I'm going to replace my start battery for the port engine. I have been noticing that it has not been holding a charge. It started when we laid the boat up in the winter, and you can see the battery back in there. Battery's back in there. So we'll take that guy out of there. and see if we can find a replacement. Start batteries shouldn't lose more than about 3% of their power on a monthly basis. So we watched this battery lose quite a bit of its charge while we were laid up for 2 months in St. Augustine. So I knew then that it needed to be replaced. We kind of limped it through 6 more months, and now it's time for it to go. Here we have the battery out. Now the challenge is going to be finding one with the same size posts. These posts look like they're irregular sized. We'll check it out. And the key is to get the same cold cranking amps. I think the one I'm looking at is actually 980 versus 1000, but that should do. So I have my battery rigged for travel down to West Marine on our new little handy dandy hand cart here, and we'll see how it goes. See if West Marine has a replacement battery. So the new battery went in really well. It was a 980 cold crank, so pretty close to 1000. So you can also see this is the shelf where I store my extra engine oil. But just had to go to the hardware store and get some nuts for the different size posts, but they were close enough that the terminals worked fine. Luckily, the old terminal was slightly larger than the new. The other way around, it would have been a problem. But port engine start battery replaced. So we're planning on leaving tomorrow morning, so we thought we'd use the dock water, clean up the boat, plus we got to clean the fenders off from being here for 2 months. This is what a fender looks like after being in the Chesapeake crud for 2 months. That's 2 months of growth up here. So pretty nasty. So that's the before picture, and this is one I've got pretty much cleaned up. It's not too hard, but it is a lot of pain and effort to get the Chesapeake crud off there. I'm also cleaning the side of the boat. Not a lot we can do about the water line down there, but I did get the side cleaned up some. Just all the fun parts of being on a boat and cruising. So one of the things we haven't really talked about is, where does our fresh water come from that we drink on the boat and we use for bathing and even use in our heads? We make our own water. On Agape, we make our fresh water through reverse osmosis. We have a blue water reverse osmosis system. It's not super common in the cruising community. What I like about it is the commercial size filters. You can see they're pretty good size filters, about 5 by 14 inch filters. And this is the pre-filters before it goes through the water maker. There's a 20 and a 5 micron, and these basically take all the sediment out of the seawater. And there's a what they call a low pressure pump that supplies the seawater from a through hull to these two filters. And there's a pressure gauge there. You have to maintain at least 10 pounds of inlet pressure to the system, and then the high pressure pump picks that up and puts it into the membrane, which is basically a molecular filter, and then it goes through a carbon filter and then it goes into our water tank. The system is automatic. It sets the pressure itself. Basically, the pressure will be lower when you're in brackish water, and it takes a higher pressure to pull all the salt water out of salt water that is full salt water. It has a product flow gauge here. We make about 30 gallons an hour, and it has a freshwater flush system, as you can see right here, and that's another carbon filter. And when it's done making water, it automatically flushes with the fresh water out of the freshwater tank. And you can also set it up so it will automatically flush once a week, so you don't have to pickle the system if you're not going to use it for a couple weeks. Maintenance that's required is changing these filters, which we're going to do today, or we're going to clean them once. I usually clean them once as they start to degrade. The carbon filters have been changed recently. I change them about once every 3 months. But this is the system that puts fresh water into our freshwater tank. Our freshwater tanks at the front of the bridge deck behind the anchor windlass. There's 2 tanks, but they're joined together for 160 gallons of freshwater storage. In the port engine compartment, we have kind of the second part of the filtration system. We have a water fixer system. So what this is another 5 micron carbon filter and a 1 micron particle filter, and then a UV sanitation system. And this is treating the water that comes out of our freshwater tank before it goes into the boat. And we treat all of our water, not just drinking water. So all of it, even the water that we use to flush the heads. And then of course back here is our hot water tank, 14 gallons. So we have pressurized hot water, and that's the water pump down there for the main system. All of the filters have to be changed on a regular basis. I've been changing the carbon filters, particle filters after the RO system about once every 3 months. And then the pre-filters, the 20 and 5 micron sediment filters, they get changed as needed according to the pressure drop across them. So these are our water filters, our pre-filters, or sediment filters as they're sometimes called. The 20 and 5 micron, and they have done their job. They are pretty nasty. So these have been in service for 6 months of cruising in the Bahamas and then making water in some of the other areas that we've been, including the Chesapeake, which is where they really got dirty. And just for a comparison, these are the filters new. Quite the difference. So today we'll be changing these out, and again it's based on the pressure differential. Basically the pressure dropped towards 10 pounds last time I ran the system, so I knew this filters were getting filled up. Time to change them. After we get the filters out, we got to clean out the filter housings because they're a little nasty. And I use a shop vac to suck all the dirty water out of them, and then I clean them out with clean rags. Don't use any chemicals because you don't want any chemicals to get into the water system. So that's some of the nuts and bolts of keeping cruising Catamaran going. Hope you enjoyed this video. Please hit the like button and please subscribe. We'd like to get our subscribers up a little bit. And I hope you enjoyed the video. We'll see you next time on SV Agave.